Hello, today we are covering up with unity and diversity. India is the most prominent and the beautiful example of what we know is unity in diversity. Not only it is reflected in all the phases of Indian history, maybe it ancient, medieval, or it may be the modern one. The ancient one is a diverse culture that has been coming from various countries, maybe the mixture of Indo-Arabian or Indo-Aryans, Greek, Scythians, and so on. Let's see how it goes. The ancient Indian history is interesting because of many races and tribes that intermingled in early India. India was initially pre-habited were pre- pre-Aryans. Pre-Aryans used to reside here in the earliest of the time, and thereafter many races and tribes came together and formed a very diverse India. Pre-Aryans were the very first residents of India, were the people of Indus Valley Civilization. We can also refer them as Dravidians. Indo-Aryan were the races which have been coming to India from Central Asia, and these people intermingled with pre-Aryans and were known as Indo-Aryans. The Greeks, the Scythians, Hunas, Turks. We know Hunas were nomadic tribes who have invaded India at the time of mm, some or what we know as the Gupta period. Scythians were also a nomadic tribe invading India. Turks were very important. We know the emergence of Sultanate. Another made India as their home. Ethnic ethnic group doesn't only contribute to one single thing, but a series of political systems, social entities, and so on. Architecture, language, and literature has emerged a lot. Some of the earliest scriptures, like the Rig Veda, were composed by Indo-Aryan only. The language, we know the language that a pre-Aryan used to speak was the Proto-Dravidian, and the Greek, and all those having different identities. Architecture, we know the architecture has been influenced by various things. Like Taj Mahal, we see Quran imbibed in the door. We can see the mosque concept has been coming from the Islam. The tomb concept has been coming from the Christianity, and so on. And all the people with different cultural traits commingled to form a very unity and diverse India, of course. And they could not be really found in their original form because of all the intermingling with each other. A remarkable feature of ancient Indian culture has been commingling of cultural element of North and South India and East and West. India, although being a very big subcontinent, does not being isolated. It has been intermingling with each other not only in terms of races and tribes but in also the locations. The east and west, north and south all were just a single geographical entity. In northern India, we see the Aryan elements like the Vedic and Puranic culture has been developing, whereas in the very south India we see the pre-Aryans with Dravidian and the Tamil culture has been evolving as a very significant factor. Today also we can find a quite difference between the north and the south India. However, many Munda and Dravidian, Munda refers to the tribes, especially they are found in the northern India on the northeastern side of especially located in the Chotanagpur Plateau or the Jharkhand region. Dravidian and other non-Sanskritic terms occur in the Vedic text. We know the term punya. Punya was something that has been taken from the Dravidian. We know the Vedic texts were ascribed between these times under the influence of Indo-Aryans. We see many ideas, institution, product, settlement associated with peninsular and non-peninsular Vedic India. Pali and Sanskrit, significant ideas institution developed in Gangetic plains, appear earliest Tamil texts like Sangam literature. So here we can see there have been an emergence of a huge variety of institution, product and settlements which were associated with both the northern India and the southern India, the developed Gangetic plains, and also in the earliest Tamil text in the Sangam literature. Sangam literature believed to be one of the oldest Indian literature and Tamil being one of the first languages of the world. Although these are all myth, Sangam literature were written between 300 BC to 600. The eastern region was inhabited by pre-Aryan tribes made its own contribution. We know the eastern region has been associated with the pre-Aryans. The people of this area spoke Munda and Kolkalian language. The people of this area spoke these languages. Then it can be interconnected that the people who live in the region where pre-Aryan used to reside, like the eastern region, used to speak in these languages, and these languages have been signified the terms like the cotton, navigation, digging, stick, just as the surnames are used today, signifying some or other tribes or castes. Indo-Aryan language has been traced to the Munda language by linguists. So although there are many Munda pockets in the Chotanagpur Plateau, the remnants of of Munda culture in the Indo-Aryan culture is fairly strong. It means the influence of Munda culture in the Indo-Aryan system is today also fairly strong. Many Dravidian terms are too found in the Indo-Aryan languages, as I said the word like punya, which is a Dravidian term found in the Vedic texts. So now, it has changes of phonetics and vocabulary of Vedic languages explained on much of the basis of Dravidian languages as that of Mundas. So with this, we can also find out that the unity in diversity is not only reflected in terms of tribes and races but also in terms of languages. The languages has been influenced by one and another. We see the intermingles of phonetic and vocabulary just as we see in the case of Maithili and Bengali. They both have been very similar to each other in terms of writings. This script has been very much similar. That shows that how it has developed over the times, just as these. So yeah, yes, India has since an ancient time has been several land of several religion. Ancient saw the birth of Brahmanism, Hinduism, Jainism. We know the Hinduism or the Brahmanism is one of the oldest religion that has been following in India since no time. Earliest of the time we found the traces of Brahmanism or Hinduism even in the time of Indus Valley civilization. worshipping of Proto-Shiva reflect the same. Jainism and Buddhism both were found in the Indian subcontinent and originates from in these places only. We found that these cultures and religion intermingled and interacted with each other. We know the Buddhism and Jainism were found because of the orthodoxy of Hinduism that has been going on since ages. Buddhism and Jainism not only provide equality but also dignity to the people who were very much suffering from the rigid caste and regulation of the Hinduism. So we can say it has been intermingling with each other and they were a better solution for them who were suffering on that area. Thus, Indians spoke various languages, practiced different religions, observed different social costumes, and help and follow a certain type of living. The country has a deep underlying unity despite of the great diversity. So yeah, the ancient trove of unity, Indian subcontinent was a geographically called geographic entity was supplemented with cultural integration. So the geographical area which is supplemented with the cultural integration. Through existed many state and languages, the culture and the communities gradually spoke, developed in the territorial identity. A state or territorial unit were known as janpads, named after different tribes. There were different tribes living in different areas, and that's how they got their name. Janpads were one of the biggest things that we can know in the uh, evidence of Mahabharata and Ramayana. In Mahabharata, of course, we can find the evidence of one Janpad that is Aryavar. Then we can find things like Kashi, Kushal, Ang, Magad, where the whole Mahabharata story has their roots on. The whole country was known as Aryavart, which has Janapads and were dominated by the cultural identity called Aryans. Aryavat, Aryavarta was diverted from these names only. They denoted the northern and the central India extended to the eastern and western sea coast. Other name by which India was better known as Bharatvarsha. Although the myths believe that the Bharatvarsha name was kept by under the name of Bharat, which was the son of Shakuntala, according to the Indian, of course, Hindu myths, or the land of Bharats. Bharat, in the sense of tribes or family, figured in Rig Veda and Ramayana. As said, these were the terms which has been derived or being traced out of the Rig Veda and the Mahabharata. Bharatvarsha occurs in Mahabharata and the post-Gupta Sanskritic text. We found that Guptas were a very pioneer of Sanskritic text and were a great preserver of it. So it is very obvious to find some evidence of what our India was in the earliest time under their rule. One name applied to the ninth division of the earth, and in the post-Gupta period it denote it India. So India in the earliest of the time were denoted as the one of the ninth division of the earth, said that earth is divided into nine parts and one of them is India. And in the post Gupta period it denoted, of course, the name India. The term Bharati or inhabitant of India occur in the post Gupta text. So we can found the term Bharati has been found in the post Gupta texts.